All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Earth Science. All right, so we've got a job to do. We've got to figure out how to use Google Earth a little bit. And I think we've played with this a little bit early in the year. I don't quite remember exactly how far we pushed it, but we've got a lab coming up where we're going to look at the Hawaiian Islands and we're going to look at how far apart they are and use that to think about some things within the world of plate tectonics and how fast that Pacific plate is moving. So to do that, we need the tool of Google Earth. Now, we used to do this. There's a real software version of Google Earth on PCs, like in the library lab, but that's not something we have access to now. So we've got to figure out how to do it with these Chromebooks. Google has done a good job of making Google Earth like better and more accessible with more tools on the Chromebooks or on the internet in general. But it's still, we've got some things we got to fight through. So, two jobs today. Number one is going to be how to just open up Google Earth and measure just a straight line distance. And there's some other cool things you can do with area. I urge you to play with it a touch. And then thing number two is going to be how to go to your Google Classroom, grab a file, and just get it to open up within Google Earth. All right, we can do this. So, first things first. If you type in Google Earth in the search bar, it does a Google search, and lo and behold, it's the top link. Now, this software can be a little bit of a resource hog. So if you're trying to play a YouTube video, other than this one, if you're trying to listen to tunes, anything like that, the less tabs, I should probably have some of these closed as well. The less tabs you have going, the better your whole thing's going to be. All right, so you get it open, you get to this page, it's going to say Launch Earth, and it's going to take a little bit to load. All right, it takes enough that and I think it's going to be better for me to press pause as it gets going. This little bar will fill up, and you'll get there. So let me pause so that you don't have to watch it go on my computer. All right, so there we go. It will eventually open up, and I'm going to urge you to play a little bit. You've got controls right down here, as long as I certainly hope we're recording, as long as we're still recording. You've got tools right down here you can use. You can change the compass. You can see where you are on Earth. If you double-click this compass, that'll pop up. Just want to make sure I'm recording. That little compass right there will tell you that north is up. And if you change that for any reason, then it's an easy fix. So like there'll be times where maybe it gets pulled to the side. That's okay. If you want to fix that, just double click right there and it will bring north up like we're used to. Another thing that really helps performance is right here where it says map style. I've already done this, but I think the default is exploration. If you have it set on exploration, it's got to stream not only all of the GIS data for the surface of the Earth, but it's also got to do borders, labels, places, and roads, right? So as you zoom in and out, it's got to load all these roads, and it just slows it down. It's clunky. Here in Earth Science, we don't really need any of that stuff. We're just looking at the surface of the Earth. So put it on clean, and it will run optimally for you as best as it can on these things. There may be moments where things are a little slow and it gets frustrated. Be patient. You'll be okay. So thing number one, big goal today, besides opening it up, is to see how to measure, which is very simple. Click that measurement tool right there. It looks like a little miniature ruler. Get my stupid head out of the way. And then it's really just like click, click. Like if I wanted, and you can zoom in and out. A good trick for zooming is to use two fingers on the mouse pad lightly and go up and down for in and out. So that's sliding up slowly. So if I wanted to go, say, from the old ice cream shop, how far is it from the old ice cream shop? And then zoom out to the lighthouse arbitrarily. Just that's something I'm interested in today. Wherever the lighthouse is, it's down here somewhere, isn't it? There we go. Click. The line turns yellow. Now it does continue, and that can be a little frustrating. It's very frustrating to me, honestly. But the value of that yellow line is right here in that pane. So you can then also change it. I want to know how long that is in yards, or I want to know how long that is in miles. That's probably the best one for the scale. 3.87 miles, not as far as I thought. So play with this a bit. Just some distances between things. There's kind of a neat function too that you're not going to need for the Hawaii lab, certainly, but if you enclose it, so you do click, 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 and then go back to where it says closed shape, and double click, it'll give you the area and the perimeter. I don't know. Maybe some people find that cool. I think it's neat. So you can see how many acres. Do your property, do something, who knows? Do the school's property. I like find a baseball stadium or a football stadium or something, See, borders labels are off. It messes you up, huh? Target field. Oh, but home plate's covered up. Well, that's all right. If we had to measure from first to home plate, can't really see it. Oop, it skipped. No, it didn't. It's good. 91 feet. So I was probably off by a foot. There's only so much accuracy you can expect with Google Earth. I'm sure that they've got that down to exactly 90 feet. But that's the idea. So just monkey with this a little bit. Do some distances, do some areas. You really want to be comfortable with that distance tool before we start the lab. Okay? Sound good? So how about pause this YouTube video now and do that for a little bit. All right? And then we'll talk about the next part right now. All right, so the next thing you're going to have to do is to get a file from your Google Classroom into this. And I really wish this was a lot easier. It's not. So what you're going to do in your Google Classroom, there's going to be something that kind of looks like this. Hawaii Lab 17.kmz. If you click it, Google doesn't necessarily know what to do with it because it's a .kmz is going to feel weird to it. All right, so you got to download it. When that pops up. Now what this is going to do, this little thing pops up down here, and you can say show in folder. What it should do is basically put it right into your Google Drive. I don't think it saves it locally on like the hard drive of this computer, though I could be wrong. So we're going to kind of have to experiment here. Let me know if this works. So this put it into my Google Drive, right? Me under my account. Hopefully you under your account, that works. And it's in there somewhere. Don't panic about finding it on this screen. As long as this pops up, we're going to say, yes, okay, it's in there. Then go back to Google Earth. And what we got to do, follow these steps carefully. I've tried this a bunch of different ways. I could only get one to work. And you can see from 20 minutes ago, there it is. I got that going. So this little guy right here is for projects, which is like a new name they're calling these files, I guess. So what you're going to do is hit that, go to new projects, and this is important. Import KML file from Google Drive. If you click that, it's going to get this. And there's going to be all your stuff. If you just type in Hawaii, because that's what I called this thing, there's all the versions of this as I've been experimenting with it. So that one with the 2 in parentheses is probably the newest. Not that it matters. They're all the same. And it will open it up. All right? Might send you flying around a little bit. Don't panic. This is what we need for that lab. You're going to be looking at these different Hawaiian volcanoes. Once you've got it open over here, that's the hard part. Your job's done. All you got to do is double click these, and it's going to fly you exactly where I want you to go in the lab. You're not doing the lab yet, don't worry. But you're going to do something with, okay, there's the island of Kauai there. And you double click and you're going to do something with the volcano with that name right there. And then you're going to double click and you'll do something with another volcano. So it's like, I mean, you're going to be measuring some distances. You'll get the details on it later. But if you don't get to a point where you've got this open, we can't really take the next step forward. Okay? So do that. Make sure that's open. Make sure you can fly around. Make sure you can measure distances. And if all of that is set, then you are prepared for the lab. Okay, which I know is kind of a big setup, but I'll try to simplify the lab a little bit. I'll take some steps out, or we usually measure between all these. I'm thinking about somehow simplifying that a bit. We'll see how that goes. All right. Great job if you made it this far. Play around Google Earth a little bit more. It's neat. It's a really powerful tool. Yeah, that'll be great. Okay. So thanks for sticking with me through that. It's a bit of an experiment. And if things aren't working, some people please speak up so that I can say, okay, maybe under student accounts, maybe I have privileges or whatever under a teacher account that make that work, whereas you can't. So this could all be for naught. But let me know. Make sure you can get that far, and we'll take the next step. Thanks, guys. No, not trash. Holy cow. Thanks, folks.